Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Whitney Ward. Well, we know this pandemic has created a lot of unique challenges for businesses, but now they are experiencing something new, an employee shortage. While more and more businesses are starting to reopen, many say they are struggling to even find enough staff. That makes it even harder to keep up with the demand from customers who are starting to get out and about again. Just last week, Delicious Hamburgers actually had to close its lobby, and that's because they only had enough staff to keep up with drive-through orders. Owner Michael Lish wants to be fully open, he says, and he's desperate for new employees, but he says no one's answering the call.
It's been very difficult, to say the least. Since about January 1st, we have had 150 applicants. We've set up about 150, or we've had more applicants than that, but we've set up 150 interviews, and we've had less than 10 actually show up for their interviews.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm completely perplexed why somebody would do the work and then not actually show up for the interview.
It's a problem that lots of people are starting to experience. So coming up tonight at 5, our Amanda Rowley shares more on how this employee shortage is affecting our entire community.
The Spokane Regional Health District is resuming the use of the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine. This follows an 11-day pause of COVID-19 vaccinations using the J&J. Federal health officials lifted the nationwide pause on the vaccine on Friday after investigating 15 cases of blood clots out of 8 million people who received that J&J shot. The health district said in a press release today it uses the Johnson & Johnson shot for people who are homebound, people in congregate settings, and residents of rural communities. Its ability to be stored at warmer temperatures and being a one-shot vaccine just makes it easier to deliver to those communities. Spokane County's interim health officer, Dr. Francisco Velasquez, says that the vaccine is safe and effective. In a statement, he said, the risks are rare compared to the enormous morbidity and mortality risks associated with contracting the COVID-19 virus. Its ease of use makes it instrumental in many of our vaccination outreach efforts. And new at 4 o'clock, the Grant County Health District is reporting 5 new Grant County residents have died from COVID-19. These deaths bring the total Grant County confirmed COVID-19 related deaths to 120. None of the deaths were associated with long-term care facilities. All 5 residents did have underlying medical conditions, putting them at a higher risk.
All right, let's talk about the weather outside. It started out beautiful.
Yes,
in fact,
it did.
I left my poor dog outside because she was happy in the grass, the sun was shining, and then it started to pour.
Boy, did it ever. And here at the studio, we could hear it pounding on the roof. Take a look at this. We're talking about seeing warmer weather towards the end of the week. So this is a one-off on this Monday afternoon. We're tracking temperatures actually climbing into the 70s by the time Thursday rolls around. And we'll look for sunshine to return on Tuesday. Right now, we're at 56 degrees. You can see we're under mostly cloudy skies. Wind out of the southwest right now at 8 miles per hour. There's a look at the radar. You can see the scattered showers across areas of eastern Washington and northern Idaho. Let's zoom in closer. Showers still out in the Spokane Valley, out towards Post Falls and into Coeur d'Alene. Silver Valley's got some rain down there as well. It looks like a little bit west of the Medical Lake area along I-90. You're going to run into some of those rain showers. We'll look for those to decrease, especially once the sun sets tonight. It does get chilly, drops down to 37, but tomorrow's high temperature about 7 degrees above average. We'll look for a daytime high of 67. You know me, I'm always looking ahead to the weekend. I've got 70 on Saturday with a slight chance of showers. Sunday we're at 65 degrees and even warmer weather for Thursday and Friday. We'll talk more about that coming up.
Can't wait to hear about that, Tom. Thank you. Well, Coeur d'Alene is by far one of the Northwest's top tourist destinations, and there's one man who is largely responsible for that success. Sadly, Dwayne Hagedorn passed away on Saturday at the age of 88. Tonight, our own Ian Smay is live in Coeur d'Alene with more on Hagedorn's life and legacy in the Lake City. Ian.
Yeah, Whitney, Dwayne Hagedorn passed away in his winter home at Palm Desert, California on Saturday. And since then, many stories of his life and his role in Coeur d'Alene's rise as a prime tourism destination have been shared. As the founder of the Hagedorn Corporation, he's built or created many of Coeur d'Alene's iconic businesses. Some of those include the Coeur d'Alene Resort, which he built, and of course the world-class golf course at the resort that has the country's only floating green. He's also behind many of the restaurants here in town, such as Tito's, Tap House Unchained, and Cedars, to name a few. His legacy in Coeur d'Alene is larger than life, as Coeur d'Alene Visitor Center Executive Director Mark Robitaille can attest.
He was a visionary, before his time, and seeing this area with its potential. The guy grew up here and obviously loved it here, saw the potential, and had this vision to build this resort. And there were a lot of naysayers at that time, and obviously it has been successful, and pretty much everything he's touched has been successful.
Hagedorn is also behind Hagedorn Media, which owns many local newspapers like the Coeur d'Alene Press and the Bonner County Daily Bee. But more than that, we have read many stories from those close to him about what a great gentleman he was. David Kilmer, who worked for Hagedorn for 30 years, shared a Facebook post about what Dwayne meant to him. And in that post, he remembered Dwayne as a man that always gave others a second chance and always stuck to his word. So I think it's safe to say that Hagedorn's legacy will live on for a long time. In Coeur d'Alene, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
Just incredible contributions for sure. Well, tomorrow SPS will be holding a public forum to discuss changing the mascot at North Central High School. They've been known as the Indians for decades, but just today, the state legislature did approve a ban on the use of Native American mascots and logos. And while some of you might be saying right now, what is the big deal? Well, I spoke with one young woman, a student at North Central, who told us exactly why now is the time for a change.
Back in the 1920s, the Indian mascot kind of came to be as a way to memorialize after the Indian Wars. From my perspective, it's kind of served as a way to keep my identity in a box. We have to consider the implications of the language regarding what we use here. When I hear the war whoops at the football games, or when leadership posts, come get your war paint at the basketball game. It's this unintentional, malicious behavior that occurs because we perpetuate the stereotypes. And I'm not saying that anyone who's opposed to this is a bad person or that they're trying to do harm, but harm is being done.
Yeah, what do you say to those people who say that they are trying to honor the Native American contributions and that fierce warrior persona that we might have of these Native American cultures?
I say that it makes it extremely difficult to validate my own identity when I'm constantly being shown images of what I should look like or how I should act. And it's really just this dehumanizing image that casts aside the struggles of Indigenous people today. Yes, I think a lot of people like to rely on this fact that, or on this idea that mascots honor Indigenous people. And I can tell you that I don't feel honored. The Spokane tribe doesn't feel honored. And so how can this be perpetuated when we are telling you it doesn't feel right?
This conversation dates back decades. Is there a part of you that is surprised that still in this day and age, this year, 2021, we're still having that same conversation?
I'm not surprised, no. I think that's a great point, though, when we talk about, if people are saying, what's the harm? Why do we have to change now? Well, this conversation has been happening for decades. So why has no change come? I hope that everyone can see that we want to have fun with a mascot. I think the alumni want to be able to have fun. I want to be able to have fun with something like a marmot. That's fun to be able to chant at a football game, And so if we can find something that makes everyone feel happy and recognize that we're not trying to erase our history, we're just trying to make sure that we can continue in a way that makes everyone feel safe. At North Central, we say, we are family always. And so how do we make sure that's true for every single person in the building?
So again, that public forum is happening tomorrow. The meeting will be on Zoom from 6:30 to 8 p.m. You can visit the SPS website to register for that meeting, to attend, or to give your public comment.